under the breeze. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Greek, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Greek, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.
Y'all know we gotta run it back one more time.
It's Yolanda the Greek. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Greek, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Greek, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea.
What's going on, Diamond Gang? I'm back. Double tap that screen, hit that like, That's it. I ain't asking for nothing else but a like. So tonight, y'all know what? I had to go digging in over there on other platforms, TikTok, Instagram. The Alexander brothers was out of control. And I mean out of control, out of line, out of pocket. And they was getting away with this mess for a very long time. So let me pull up my screen. What's up? Welcome everybody. Subscribe. People that's already sub. People that's maybe possibly potentially subbing. Um, Shouts out to all my moderators. I love y'all. I really do. All right, let me pull up my screen. Mm, 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 mm. These boys was something else. I'm gonna take it back to their original arrest, all the way up into the trial. I do have some of the survivors slash victims speaking. Um, I have the one brother, Orion. He was in the interrogation room. So I do have his interrogation, some of it. All right, so let's get into it.
High-profile arrests of three brothers, including two who were top real estate brokers from New York City to Miami, arrested on federal sex trafficking charges, what authorities allege they did over many years. Here's Victor Akendo.
Tonight, prominent luxury realtors Oren, Tal, and their
get a good look at them. Of course, y'all know the one on the left, the one on the right is the twins, Oren and Alon, and then their excuse me, their older brother Tal. One of the twins was married. Oren, this one on the left, was married. He had a pregnant wife when he got arrested, y'all. This is disgusting. Plus, they was linked to the Epstein files as well, so I have that in here too.
brother Alon Alexander arrested on federal sex trafficking charges, allegedly spanning more than a decade.
The Alexander brothers worked together and with others to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims.
According to the indictment, the brothers arranged the sexual assaults in advance, at times using dating apps or social media to promise luxury experiences, international travel, and accommodations to lure and entice women to locations. Accusers telling police,
nice looking guys, to have all three of your kids tied into something like this. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong with these three boys.
the Alexanders allegedly held them down and ignored screams and explicit requests to stop. They were arrested early this morning. Our Miami affiliate WPLG capturing two of the brothers being booked.
Three brothers.
Again, we're taking it back from their arrest. Let's go.
Have been convicted of sex trafficking after weeks of emotional testimony. On Monday, a jury found that Tal and Oren Alexander had repeatedly trafficked and engaged in unlawful sexual activity with young women.
Nice looking guys. I don't know what was going through their mind or what they went through for them to want to do this.
Alexander brothers rose to prominence, closing high-end real estate deals in New York and Miami.
More than a year after the Alexander brothers were first arrested on charges including sex trafficking, a jury found the trio guilty of all 10 counts against them Monday. Mark Agnifilo represents Oren Alexander.
We believe in our client's innocence, and we're not going to stop fighting until we prevail.
They're going to go up for an appeal. I'm letting y'all know that. So be ready. They're going to try to appeal. They're claiming that these women were gold diggers. Yeah, okay.
And his brother Tal rose to prominence as real estate brokers to the mega rich. Alon Alexander, Oren's twin, worked as an executive for a private security firm owned by the family.
The Alexander brothers worked together and with others to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims.
All three brothers were arrested in December of 2024. During the trial, the jury heard from 11 women who accused the brothers of rape or sexual assault, including allegations that the Alexanders had drugged the women before assaulting them, even recording certain encounters without consent. The jury found Tal, Oren, and Alon guilty of sex trafficking charges, Tal and Alon guilty of sex trafficking a minor, and Oren and Alon guilty of sexual abuse. Their sentencing has been scheduled for August, and the brothers face life behind bars.
And now that their federal trial is over, the Alexander brothers still face additional legal trouble, including in Florida.
They got other cases in other states. So, yeah. The twins, they were brought in on state charges. The older brother was brought in on federal charges.
Where Alon and Oren are charged with rape in state court. They have pleaded not guilty. The details pretty disturbing, guys.
So now we get ready to get into where they come from, who they are. They come from money, big money. Their dad put up his house for them. Let's go.
Alexander brothers are 3 Israeli Americans. Their father is a very, very, very rich and powerful businessman in Miami. These men came from money, and then 2 of them, the twins, were very successful in luxury real estate. The crimes that they committed go all the way back to high school. I believe starting.
Did y'all hear that? They started young as ever, high school age.
In sophomore year. They started out as teenage boys who grew up incredibly rich, incredibly privileged. And so in high school, that was where they began drugging.
Do me a favor, gang. Please hit the like for me. Please. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for a super chat. I'm not asking for a cash app. Hit the like, please.
And raping girls, participating in gang rape. Sometimes it was 1 brother, sometimes it was 2, sometimes it was all 3. And this continued on for decades.
Y'all hear that? Decades. They started as sophomores in high school. Sophomores.
Was an open secret in the real estate world where a lot of people had heard something, a lot of people knew someone, and every fucking time, this is how it goes.
Please, gang, hit the like. That's it. That's all. Hit the like. I need y'all to hit that like before I go on. Hit the like, please.
Because this shit, when these types of crimes are being committed by the rich and powerful, why should they have to go to extended lengths to hide? They're proud about it. They're bragging about it. They don't think they're going to be stopped. Because why the fuck would they? They are the type of people who this world is designed to enable and protect. I believe prosecutors said it was over 60 women and girls that these 3 brothers collectively drugged, raped, trafficked, abused for over 2 decades. In one instance, after a 17-year-old was drugged and raped by Alon, he sent a message to his brother Oren saying, "I took down a 17-year-old." The brothers often documented.
Again, Oren, that was the twin on the left. He was married with a pregnant wife when he was arrested. So this is insane.
And bragged about their crimes because they always believed their status and money would protect them. But it is over. They were convicted on all charges, including the most serious of sex trafficking. The defense they tried to use is that these men were womanizers, that everything was consensual. There was one hard drive that was found in one of their apartments that was some sort of handbook on how to justify.
Yes, to justify what they're doing. So this handbook, oh my goodness, was used as evidence.
Raping women and girls, and that included things like it's not rape if she's too afraid to go to the police. It's not rape if she is fucked up and nobody believes her. These men were so wealthy, they were charming, they were popular, they were good looking. And people who don't understand how rape is about power and control will go, well, I don't understand why men like this would do something like that because they.
And listen, Diamond Gang, they were the only 3 arrested. They claimed that they were looking for a cousin. Come to find out he wasn't a cousin. But you figured they was doing this for decades. And you mean to tell me that it was just these 3 getting away with this without any type of help? I don't believe it.
They could get so many women, and it's because it's about power. It's always about power.
The most serious sex trafficking case.
And for their dad to go the extra mile to try to get them out, I don't care what nobody say. Their father knew what they was doing.
It's ever to be tried. It's happening right now, and the jury just got the case. And it's not Jeffrey Epstein, and it's not Diddy. It's the Alexander brothers. It is shocking that this case hasn't got more attention because it is so big and it's so gross. The case just wrapped, and I wanted to provide.
Y'all see that one back there with the green jacket? That's because of attempts on his own life. That's why he got that green vest on and not the red one.
an overview of everything that happened. Quick intro for who these brothers are. So Tal and Oren Alexander were two of the most prominent real estate brokers in the entire United States, and essentially brokered the biggest deal in the country's history on Central Park in the 200s of million. Their brother and Oren's twin, Alon, was a security executive at their father's firm. So many people don't know about.
So the one on the right was working for his father. That's crazy.
This case, so I'm trying to give an overview now that the case has come to a wrap. Over about a month of trial, there was a mountain of evidence that the prosecution presented that really told the story of these three brothers over a decade long, coordinated to basically drug and assault many, many women over many states, but predominantly in Miami and New York. They also alleged.
Remember, Diamond Gang, and that's coming up. They were at an Epstein party in New York. There is a report. Someone went to the FBI and told the story about these brothers.
That a few of the cases specifically related to Oren and his brother Alon, that these involved women under the age of 18. Why this is such a big case is because of the amount of charges. So in the case of Epstein, in the case of Diddy, both of them respectively faced 2 charges, and these brothers faced 12.
Y'all hear that? They had more charges than Epstein and Diddy. More charges than Epstein and Diddy.
2 of the charges during the case got.
And they were convicted on actually, I think they grouped them as 3 charges altogether. I think Epstein and Diddy got 2. The brothers got 3.
Dropped. And the inference is that there was witness tampering and intimidation. Also, midway through the trial, it was discovered that they were also in the Epstein files. 11 witnesses came forward to give testimony.
Now, the victim that I have today, her case, the statute of limitations ran out, but she was still able to testify. So that was a good thing.
About their own personal experiences of assault from the brothers. In addition to the 11 witnesses, there was also a video produced towards the end of the trial that showed Oren Alexander, the picture on the left here, assaulting a woman on camera who was purported to be under the age of 18. This video was filmed by him. At the same time, at the end of the trial, there was also evidence of.
There was so much evidence. There was no way they could get out of this. No way.
A blog that was found on Tal Alexander's hard drive in his apartment during a search. And the name of the blog was It's Not If. And
that's the little journal or little book that they went by that the woman that I just showed you guys was talking about.
And it seems that all 3 brothers contributed to that blog, and it was very damning. So the case is now with the jury, and we're waiting to find out what the fate are of these 3 brothers. But essentially, many of the charges carry life sentences, and all brothers who are in their late 30s receiving the sentences that are associated with these crimes is very serious and significant. In addition to these federal charges, the brothers face a slew of civil allegations and lawsuits, as well as state charges for both Tal and Alon, respectively.
So Tal and Alon still got to face the state.
This case really deserves a lot of extra attention.
The most disgusting douche lord monster.
Now we about to go into the Epstein files, what was said about the 2 brothers. This actually came out in court, and it wasn't investigated. That's the crazy part.
got away with so much, and now they're finally found guilty. But they're also in the Epstein files. So the Alexander brothers, who are Israeli American, have just been found guilty of.
And again, remember, Kash Patel said that there was nothing in the Epstein files. If there was, they would be on it and conducting investigations. Well, we know that to be a lie. Why? Because there was something in here about these brothers. So let's go.
Sex trafficking, but we're going to ignore the fact that they were also found in the Epstein files midway through the trial. Good old Kash Patel says there's no evidence in the files, but let's look at it real quick. A 16-year-old told the FBI she was at Epstein's mansion when Oren and Alon Alexander lured her friends up.
They're going to file number, EFT number. Anybody that's pulling those files, here it go. If you want that EFT number, there it is right there.
And locked a door. This report to the FBI specifically talks about being SA'd by Jeffrey Epstein and other, quote, powerful men in New York, like the Alexander brothers. Redacted person stated Oren raped redacted person.
Who knows? They might be the ones to tell, to give up something on Epstein. Who knows?
And Oren's brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Redacted, tried to slit her after the incident. All three brothers were found guilty on all counts. I believe there was 11 or 12 counts, which is way bigger than Epstein or Diddy, who both had just 2 counts. One of the biggest sex trafficking cases is breaking today, but can we just talk about the fact that it's in the Epstein files, and this shows that there is proof of trafficking in the Epstein files, in my opinion, in all of our opinions. And huge shout out to these 2 female reporters who took down the Alexander brothers.
Yeah, those 2 reporters, and I have them speaking as well. If it wasn't for them, but they took the Alexander brothers down.
Years after their, quote, open secret. Catherine Kalergis and Ellen Cranley broke the story in 2024 after receiving a tip. Reporter Sheridan Wall also played a big role in taking down the Alexander brothers. They really did think that they were untouchable. Not to mention they were the realtors for Ivanka and Jared for their 24 million.
The 2 reporters, they actually did cover the trial. They were in the courtroom. They didn't, I don't believe, testify.
$1 million mansion in Florida. So, Cash, what do you got to say about that?
High-profile arrests of 3 brothers, including 2 who were top real estate brokers from New York City to Miami, arrested on federal sex trafficking charges.
Now,
But authorities.
What I'm doing is I'm taking it back to the beginning because I want you guys to see their father and their attorney pleading for them to come home on house arrest. And they were able to. Let's go.
Alleged they did over many years. Here's Victor Akendo.
Tonight, prominent luxury realtors Oren, Tal, and their brother Alon Alexander arrested on federal sex trafficking charges, allegedly spanning more than a decade.
The Alexander brothers worked together and with others to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims.
According to the indictment, the brothers arranged the sexual assaults in advance, at times using dating apps or social media to promise luxury experiences, international travel, and accommodations to lure and entice women to locations. Accusers telling police the Alexanders allegedly held them down and ignored screams and explicit requests to stop. They were arrested early this morning, our Miami affiliate WPLG capturing 2 of the brothers being booked.
The Alexander twins, whose family...
Here we go, right here. This is the hearing that they requested that they come home on house arrest.
Gained fame in the luxury real estate business, forced to drop their expensive garments for jumpsuits. Oren in red, usually worn for high-profile defendants. Alon in a green vest, given to inmates to prevent self-harm.
He must have threatened self-harm or did something or made an attempt.
The brothers are facing federal allegations of working together to repeatedly...
This is why I believe they will tell on anybody else that was involved in this.
Drug, assault, and rape dozens of victims. But today they pleaded not guilty on their Miami cases, where prosecutors say they assaulted and raped women inside their South Florida homes. Today, Miami-Dade state attorneys and defense agreed on a deal for the twins to be released on house arrest with a GPS monitor after the father put in his...
There's Dad right there. He put up his mansion.
Bal Harbor Mansion as a personal charity. That property worth $40 million. If the defendants fail to appear in court, the father...
I'm praying that they when they get sentenced, I'm praying, just like the Menendez brothers, they told everything. I'm praying that they tell everything that happened in their childhood about their parents. Something is up with this, y'all. You don't birth 3 sons and they turn out this way. This is sick, and I think it was taught to them. I don't care what nobody say.
Could lose some of his money.
We're grateful and we're pleased that the court signed the order granting pretrial release for the boys. They're innocent. I don't have anything further at this time.
These are grown men. Did you hear the attorney refer to them as boys? Get out of here.
You'll hear for the first time from several women who accused the Alexander brothers of attacking them. The brothers are now facing sexual battery charges in connection to one or more of these cases. Now, in the video show investigators interviewing the women, their identities are concealed due to the nature of the allegations. Here's NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Viteri.
In several video recorded statements obtained by NBC6 Investigates,
We're getting ready to hear a couple of the witnesses or the women that went through the assaults.
women
Trigger warning.
described violent sexual encounters they say were committed by one or more of the Alexander brothers.
I was scared for my life just because of what I just experienced. I don't know the rape, but just how they were.
One woman whose identity is concealed told investigators she thought she was meeting Alon Alexander for a barbecue at a Miami Beach condo on December 31st, 2016, but instead found herself alone with Alon, twin brother Oren, and a third man, Ohad Fisherman.
He just pushed me down.
I believe that third man is the guy that they claim was their cousin. He was on the run for a little while.
And had his knees and hands on my shoulders, holding me down.
She says Fisherman restrained her while first Oren and then Alon took turns raping her.
I was crying the whole time. I was asking them not to do it. I was just please no, please no.
Another woman told police Oren invited her to his home on Flamingo Drive in October of 20.
And this is what I'm saying. He has a wife and kids.
2021.
I start pulling away, and as I'm pulling away, he starts to get more aggressive. Okay, kissing me more strongly, holding me firmly, and he ripped the top of my dress.
She says what started as a flirtatious encounter ended with him assaulting her.
He pushed me into his bed, and I laid there stiff, in shock. And he got on top of me.
The woman who says she was attacked in 2016 confided in friends and family, according to the report, but she told.
One report claimed that they were arguing. The brothers was arguing at one point about who was going to go first. I mean, this is crazy.
Told investigators she was afraid of the brothers and to report what happened to police at the time.
They just had this weird presence about them. It was just a very, very, very scary.
All men are awaiting trial. We spoke with attorneys for Oren and Alon Alexander, who told us in a statement the accuser stories will collapse not only under their own weight, but with evidence that will prove they are not believable.
And this is how they were fighting their case, calling the women gold diggers.
Aside from the obvious financial reward they are seeking after 8 years of not reporting to law enforcement, we will show evidence and witnesses and
victim blaming and shaming. That's what they were doing.
Motivations contradicting their stories. Attorneys for Fisherman, who is on house arrest, did not respond to our requests for comment. Oren and Alon are in federal custody in New York, where, along with their brother Tal, they are also facing federal sex trafficking charges. They have previously denied those allegations as well. Amy Viteri, NBC6 News.
What a story. Amy, thank you for that report.
Now, this is the woman that I told you guys that the statute of limitation ran out for her, but she was still able to testify to make this case. So let's go.
I get a random Facebook message from Oren. Before I accept the message, I take a look at his profile. Who is this? I saw that he's pretty handsome, that we have some mutual friends in common. And I said, okay, let's chat.
Maria shared her messages with Oren. She says she was new to Miami and felt comfortable chatting with Oren because of those mutual connections.
He was flirty with me.
I'm sorry, guys.
Just asking me where I live, if I live in Miami.
But after meeting him in a Miami Beach restaurant, she says Oren escorted her to a table where there were many women who didn't appear to know each other.
I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to make the screen bigger. I'm sorry.
There were 10 other women at the table and 2 gentlemen, but I never met these people before.
Maria says after dinner, Oren invited her and the other women to the Versace mansion for a party.
Once we're at the Versace mansion, first of all, I was shocked. I was like, oh, wow, we're here. I've never been to the mansion. It's so beautiful.
And after a while at the party, she says things suddenly turned.
He comes up.
Now, I will say this. A lot of them said that they felt like they were drugged. Of course, they didn't see it. I'm not sure, if any, I'm pretty sure maybe possibly some of them went and got tested.
To me, he's like, hey, would you like to go to the watchtower and see the view? I said, okay, let's go.
She says that once they were alone, his demeanor completely changed.
Once we got up there, he grabs my shoulder, turns me around, and just forces himself like kissing me. When I kept saying, calm down, he got aggressive. And he started, taking off my top, my dress. When I tried to push him away, he got even more angry and he pushed me down. I tried to push him. He's very strong, so I couldn't.
Oren Alexander denies Maria's allegations. His attorney didn't respond to a request for comment.
The Alexander brothers worked together and
This
with
is
others
crazy.
to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims.
Maria says she wasn't drugged during her alleged attack.
I felt like a piece of garbage at that point.
Okay, so she wasn't drugged. A lot of the women that testified said that they felt like they were.
And he got up, put himself together and left. Just left me there.
Maria says she wanted to go to the police immediately after she says she was raped, but ultimately decided not to.
Of course, you think, I have to go to police. I have to go to police. But then in the back of your mind, you're like, but what if nobody believes?
I think they need to change the statute of limitations. I really do.
She has since reported the alleged attack to police, but because the statute of limitations had run out, Maria is not part of the criminal or civil cases against the brothers. She says she has agreed to testify if she's needed.
But this right here tells you, she's telling the truth. For her to not be able to monetarily or criminally get them and still show up and show out for these other women, she's telling the truth. It happened.
I just felt safer to come out and actually go to the police now, since they've been arrested. And I'm glad that I did.
Glad, Maria says, because after sharing her story, she says that she realizes that she is not alone.
A few women have, messaged me. I'm happy that we connected because
And they say there was at least 60. I'm pretty sure there's more than that. It's just some that just didn't come forward.
we know what it is. We understand each other.
Between Katie and a man named Greg. Quote, LOL, okay, so we were there.
Now, this is the actual messages of the Alexander brother. This is how they lure women in.
Chilling, drinking. I go up to Ames and Tal and they offered me some Molly. Greg says, is that cover for what I think you're trying to say? So she tries again, this time changing the spelling of the word Molly, which is another name for MDMA or ecstasy. And Greg texts, damn, you rolled last night? She replies, not a lot, a tiny bit, yeah. He remarks, casual Thursday night. And she says, unfortunately. So he tells her to continue. Now, by the way, that could be problematic, right? If someone voluntarily takes a drug, goes to credibility, goes against this idea that you didn't consent, goes against this idea of you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it's obviously something defense attorneys will work with.
And that's basically what they were saying.
So it continues. So anyway, I started to feel it a tiny bit, never felt it hugely throughout the night. We went to Bravak after. A club, he asks. She responds, and everything was fine. Yes, like the club, ha. And Katie continues, it was fun. We had tables, it was cool, like rolling with Zac Efron, ha ha ha, you know, I guess figuratively and literally. Anyway, I'm there and I'm not that bad. And then I get to a point where I just stop remembering. The next thing I know, I'm like me again, but a few hours later, like a switch, I instantly snapped out of it, like instantly. And Greg says, that's not really how Molly works, I don't think. And she says, right, I don't know. Anyway, I'm in.
Ain't no telling what these boys was giving them. There is no telling unless they went right after the incident, got a urine sample, got it tested. There's no telling.
One of the brothers' beds, naked, and I'm trying to leave, but he wouldn't let
Pete this. Listen to this. Listen to what he says to her.
me, like pushing me down every time I tried to get up. Greg says, WTF, did he hurt you? And she says, yeah, it was bad. Like there was a point when I was crying, telling him to stop, but he wouldn't. So how'd you leave? This is what Greg asks. She responds, he fell asleep, such an asshole. And I leave and I have no idea where the hell I am. So I was just walking near like Canal Street, methinks. And he tells her she should have called him. And she responds that she called Nick. Remember, Nick said you got a voicemail from her that made no sense. Greg asks, did you hook up with the kid? And Katie responds, yeah. I was like, I don't want to have sex with you.
Listen up. Listen to what he told her. So she had to be on something. She didn't remember nothing.
And he's like, you already did. He asks, do you think they slipped you something? Molly doesn't make you black out like
So he told her, you already did. Basically saying that he did what he did to her.
that. He responds, no, I don't know what could have happened. Maybe with the alcohol, I reacted weirdly to it. But thing is, I just snapped out of it so suddenly, literally like a switch. Greg says, that's not normal. And she responds, so yes, that's why I'm acting weird. I feel weird. By the way, this could go to why she maybe didn't want to report this, face questions of what happened.
This is terrible because you just never know what the side effects messing with street narcotics, drugs, anything.
And that night, maybe she was concerned about the blame being put on her. But Greg asks if she told Nick everything, and she responds, I'm not sure what parts I told him. I was freaking out, just so confused. He knows the gist of it, though. And then when he asks if Ainsley knows, she responds, she didn't realize what was happening, but she knows now, LOL. She came over this morning because I called her. I wanted to die this morning. Anyway, keep that on the DL, please, meaning down low. And he responds, obviously. Now, in another text message, Katie says she hasn't spoken to Elliot since Thursday. It's unclear who Elliot is, but context in the messages suggests he may be the alleged victim's roommate. But Greg texts, well, she may have an idea about what happened when you went to Zac Efron's because she read our conversation, which is still dumbfounding me that she did that. Katie responds, she just read about bruises and hand marks. She continues, I'm sure she thinks something went wrong. I mean, I crawled on top of my bed at like 5:30 a.m., didn't change or anything. Just
I want to know if anything fatal happened to anybody in their presence. If so, it will come out. I'm pretty sure of it, but this is crazy.
in a fetal position, LOL. A few weeks later, in July, Katie texts Greg again, quote, I'm going to an event tonight at Olive's for work, and Alexander Brothers will be there. Greg says, don't go. She responds, I told him a few days ago I'd go. I'm working it. Say you don't feel well, he suggests.
Ain't no way I would have went back around them.
Katie says, we'll eat and drink and stuff, mingle with young professionals, take pictures, etc. When he says, doesn't sound that worth it, she responds, see, the thing is I don't want this to keep me from doing things that I want to do. Later in the text thread, she says, I want to face him too. Katie continues, I think I'm going to go. It's just annoying that they will be
This is risky as I don't know what.
there. Greg says, are you going to say something? You don't want to even cause a scene at the event. She responds, of course not. I'll avoid him unless he comes up to me. Then I'll be cold. She also indicates that her friend Ainsley will be there with her.
So she actually went back because she really wanted to know what happened. That's woof. That's
And
bold.
it's just really chilling stuff to see in writing, allegedly right after this purported attack. But I will tell you on the stand, this is according to reporting from NBC New York, Katie testified that she remembered being at the club, then woke up on a bed in an apartment that she didn't recognize. She testified, quote, "The next thing I remember is coming to instantly like a switch, and I was laying naked across a bed with Alon standing over me, who was naked as well. In that moment, I had no idea what happened. I said, I don't want to have sex with you, and he said, you already did. That was incredibly overwhelming. Everything came crashing down on me." And she claims at that point that Alon laughed in her face before sexually assaulting
This
her
is
again.
crazy.
She also
These brothers are evil. Evil. I don't care what nobody say. This gotta be learned behavior. This gotta be.
testified that Tal at one point entered the room but seemed, quote, super nonchalant, didn't
do nothing, didn't care, of course, because he was part of it.
anything to help her. There was another woman who testified on behalf of the prosecution. Avashan Bojnud claimed she witnessed an unidentified woman being raped by Tal and one of the twins at a home in the Hamptons back in May of 2009. She said she saw Tal, quote,
Look at that. This is crazy.
dragging the woman who was, quote, not walking on her own to the pool area. She testified that she heard the woman screaming and asking people to stop as she was raped in the hot tub. The witness testified that she was terrified to intervene, but did write messages in eyeliner on the brothers' bedroom doors, with one saying,
Now this right here, I don't understand this, because she actually wrote this on their door. I don't know.
and another saying, you need to apologize. Photos of those messages, by the way, were shown to the jury. And she admitted she didn't call 911 and said she had been warned by a mutual friend that the Alexander brothers were very powerful. Another witness, using the pseudonym Isa Brooks, testified earlier this month that she was raped by 4 men, including Tal, Alon, that this was at a Memorial Day party when she was just 16 years.
These brothers need to be up under the jail. And I'm telling y'all now, they are getting ready to try to appeal. They're going to try to appeal.
Years old. Other witnesses spoke about believing they'd been given drinks spiked with drugs and allegedly losing control of their bodies, only to be sexually assaulted.
That sounds like ketamine, something like Diddy was giving out, horse tranquilizer. That's crazy.
By one or more of the brothers. Prosecutors also introduced some of the men's text messages into the record, which seemed to show.
That's that guy. I'm telling you, that's the one alleged, the cousin. That's not the cousin.
Them communicating about purchasing various types of drugs, which they would refer to as party favors. So the question now is, what route could the brothers
These guys was worse than Diddy. Worse than Diddy.
Defense attorneys take when it's their turn to present evidence and call witnesses, right?
Now, I will say this. We didn't hear of any type of illicit drugs given when it came to Epstein. We didn't.
I'll tell you, we have gotten a pretty good idea from the cross-examination that they've done so far of alleged victims, questioning their recollections and accusing them of trying to extort the wealthy Alexander brothers.
That is the weakest defense ever. The weakest defense ever. One of the victims had money and said that they were going to donate the money.
But some of the witnesses have pushed back on that. There was a woman named Malin Garrett who has also filed a civil lawsuit, says she was raped by Alon in Aspen in 2017 when she was just 17 years old. Now, the defense pointed to her push for money damages as a money grab, right?
Listen to this. This is it right here.
To the civil lawsuit. But the New York Times reports that Garrett testified that her father is a billionaire, so she doesn't need the money. And she claims she sued them because, quote, they took something from me that I didn't really want to give. And now I want to take something from them that I know.
You got to give it to her. That's what's up. She was a billionaire. She came from money. But their defense was they are all gold diggers. She got him good. The brothers good. All 3 of them.
They don't really want to give.
That's right.
There was another alleged victim, Lindsay Ackrey, claims Tal raped her in the Hamptons. She testified that she decided to sue when she heard that one of the defense attorneys had called the accusers gold diggers and con artists. The Times reports she told the court, to do that to women who came forward with sexual assault is cruel and horrible. And she says if she does win any damages as part of her lawsuit, she hopes to set up a foundation to help victims.
There it go right there. So she's going to donate any proceeds that she wins out of this lawsuit from those 3 brothers to a foundation for victims. Like these dudes, this is crazy.
One of the first women to file a civil lawsuit against the Alexander brothers was Kate Whiteman, who said she met the twins at a nightclub in Manhattan in 2012. And she claimed that they forced her into a waiting SUV and took her to a
That's kidnapping right there.
mansion called Sir Ivan's Castle, where she was allegedly assaulted. But here's the thing. In an unexpected and very sad twist,
This is so sad. Trigger warning. This is so sad what happened to her. Let's go.
is not going to be testifying in the federal trial or any trial at all. She was found dead in Australia last year. The Guardian reports that authorities in New South Wales called the death non-suspicious. It's just sad nonetheless thinking about this. So look, it's being reported that prosecutors are expected to wrap up their case soon, and then it's going to be up to the defense attorneys for all three men to take.
I wanted y'all to hear what was going on while they were going through their trial. I wanted you guys to hear some of the victim statements. Now we're getting ready to get into the one brother's interrogation.
So on December 11th,
after this clip right here,
2024, all three brothers were arrested by FBI agents in Miami. Alon and Oren were charged together. Tal was charged separately.
Okay, so this is the breakdown because it gets confusing because some of the twins have state charges, I believe, along with federal. But this is the breakdown of how they were arrested and what they're charged with.
So in Miami-Dade County, the Oren and Alon were charged with sexual battery, and that's why they were arraigned separately. They were in a different court. So Tal was in federal court, Oren and Alon.
See, so Tal was the oldest brother was in federal, while the twins was in state court.
Were in state court. Oren, I believe, had 3 charges, while Alon had 1 charge. And it involved a case in 2016, which also included a alleged accomplice of the brothers who was described as a cousin of the Alexanders,
and that's that guy they keep showing. I believe that is the supposed cousin.
Turned out to just be a family friend.
At first, when they announced these charges, there was a lot of emphasis on
these two speaking. Those are the 2 that reported them. They're responsible for this whole thing going down with them.
They did not act alone, that there were other people that had participated in this. So far, we have not, the government hasn't actually brought charges against other individuals, but, through some of the evidence they've presented and text messages and things, there are, allegedly other men that are involved.
There gotta be. All right, gang. Now, this is his interrogation. This is insane. Gang, this is the twin.
Oren also appeared to get in a bit of a nap before a detective team comes to speak with him as well. And he's concerned for himself, but he also has questions about his wife.
The wife had to know what was going on. She had to know. But I don't think to that extent that he was doing this craziness, but she had to know something.
Oren? Yes. Hi, I'm Jessica. Do you want water or coffee or anything? Hot water. Hot water? Yeah. That's my hair hot water. Okay.
Oren is the one that had the green vest on. The one that I said that may have potentially tried to do something to himself.
Obviously, FBI is conducting our own investigation at your residence. I'm actually here to speak to you about allegations that were made against you some time ago. So if that's something that you want to speak to me about, we can obviously move forward.
Now, peep this. He wants the information from them, what they got on him so bad. However, he can't. He said, I'm not speaking until I get my attorney here. But he wants it bad, bad.
So you're not involved with the FBI? You're not? No. I can't speak on what they have because I don't work with the FBI. I'm with Miami Beach Police Department, so that is completely separate. I am investigating something that happened in our jurisdiction, our Miami Beach. When? It was going to be some time ago, an incident that took place in 20.
And gang, when you're dealing with multiple charges, it's usually the Fed first, and then you fight the state after. So they still got to fight the state.
17? Where? Well, I have to first see if you want to get into it with me. I would have to read you, your rights, so we can get into details. But again, it's your prerogative. I'm not going to see what the matter. Okay, I completely understand that. Do you have any questions for me? I obviously not related to the case because these are all legal counsel. So yeah, where's my wife? I believe again, this is I believe she remained at the residence. I know she's very much pregnant, so I from.
Did y'all hear that? She's very much pregnant.
What I saw, they are really, as a pregnant, very pregnant woman. And my understanding is she's not I'm assuming that's what that was. I'm not entirely sure, but I did see them. I saw them there, and they were fine. Okay. Okay. So I just want to confirm that you do not wish to speak to me without an attorney. Sure. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I will be removing my camera. Here's your hot water. If you need anything, just give a knock. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Are they gonna speak to the FBI?
He want to know bad if the FBI is coming for him.
I don't. Not from my understanding. No. I don't know how that's going to develop. Again, do we know why I'm being arrested? No, I can't speak to you about anything. Since you don't want to talk to me, I can't talk to you about this. I don't. I'm just. That's why I'm being arrested. We can't really discuss. Like I said, if you wanted to speak to me, then I have to read the Miranda and then we could go into detail. But since we're not doing that, I can't go through that.
Spoiled, rotten, rich kids, so narcissistic. Just he thought he could get around that.
Okay, but am I being arrested by my police department? I'm not being arrested by FBI. Like I said, FBI has an entirely different thing that I'm uninvolved in. So I cannot speak. I do not know. I am 100.
This is the brother that I'm going to say is going to eventually start talking. He can't do not a day in jail. Y'all seen that he had the suicide suit on and everything else. And now he's worried. He's worried. He can't do a day in jail.
100% not involved in the FBI investigation because I am not FBI. I'm just not an Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, Oren's wife's pregnancy came up again at a bond hearing.
Yes.
Your Honor, my wife is 9 months pregnant, due any day now with our first child. Her family's in Brazil. She's counting on me to be with her during labor.
And because it's considered a dangerous crime, I'm required to hold you with no bonds. But also a federal hold judge. She does, Your Honor.
Like, come on. You really thought that they were going to give you a bond?
Honor, he has a whole.
Bond was denied, by the way. Now, at one point, one of the detectives came back to the interview room to ask Oren about his attorney.
Do you know your attorney's name off the top of your head or any information off the top of your head?
Not sure which attorney would be working with.
Okay.
Yeah, in New York.
He's still trying to get it.
Isabel Kirshner.
Isabel Kirshner.
K-I-R-S-R-C-H.
S-C-H, maybe?
Could be.
Isabel Kirshner, it's out of New York?
Correct.
Do you have another one that you might think of?
I'm not sure which one you work with locally.
Okay. Thank you.
Am I under arrest?
Yes.
He's still like, he's still trying. He can't believe what's going on right now. He never thought he was going to be caught.
And for what?
Well, remember, you didn't want to talk to me, so you have to talk with you.
And I'm under arrest for?
If you wanted to sit down and discuss the cases, yes. But he told me they want to speak about legal counsel and I respect that.
I mean, I'm happy to really tell you why I'm being what I'm being arrested for.
Again, I will go into details, but since you don't want to speak.
He know what he being arrested for. We almost done, Diamond Gang.
that would be a council. I'm not going
And I would say in an eerie similarity to his twin, Oren also gets up to walk around the room and request a bathroom break.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm a twin. And I mean, when twins are separated, they feel like they can't function without each other. On my life. And I'm a fraternal twin. So I know for identical twins, that sense is even stronger. His brother is the more dominant twin. Trust me on this one, y'all.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll get somebody to help him.
You can disapprove of their life.
He going crazy. He don't know what to do. He don't know what to do.
Lifestyle and still find them not guilty. So what evidence does the prosecution have as they try to lock up the brothers? Well, I want to dig into that.
All right.
So nearly a dozen.
I'm going to stop it right here. I wanted y'all to see part of that interrogation. Yeah, this is a mess. It was a mess. For them to try to appeal, their defense attorney did a horrible job with the gold digger defense. That was just So I'm gonna keep an eye. I'll give y'all updates, but that's about it. I'm not going down a rabbit hole on this one. I wanted to give the war a break, although it amped up today. Iran is making threats towards the U.S. It's a lot going on. So more than likely, we're going to be back on the war tomorrow because it's going down, gang. I just wanted to give y'all a break from that because I know, you know, day after day after day after day, it becomes overwhelming. So I only looked at a little bit of what was going on. I made an upload and I kept it moving. So, but I wanted to cover the Alexander brothers. I didn't know what was going on until they was charged. So it was quite interesting. You said Cuba next? Yeah. This is crazy. Yeah, please, Diamond Gang, hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you'll become a member. I'm going to say this every live stream until I get enough members to do a members only. This is a fairly new channel. So please subscribe, become a member so we could get it started. I want to do exclusive stuff, you know. You got to kind of be careful when you're doing live streams like this. But please, yeah, turn your notifications on. I want to say thanks for everybody that came through, showed up, showed out. I want to say thanks to my moderators. I love you guys. Keep your notifications on because I will be live tomorrow about what's going on. War updates tomorrow for sure. It's a lot going on. I told you guys, this is far from over. I'm hearing that now the barrels is $200. It went from 100 to 200. This is insane. All right, Diamond Gang, we're an hour in. I'm going to go ahead and log off and get up out of here. Everybody be safe and have a good night.
It's your under the breeze. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under the degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping his tea. Spilling his tea. Spilling and sipping his tea. Spilling his tea. Spilling and sipping his tea. Spilling and sipping his tea. Spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me.
Oh, wait, one more thing. We finally actually did admit that we struck that school in Iran. Yeah. So it's out there. It's just a mess. So stay tuned, gang. I will be back tomorrow.
For watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Great, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow. The secrets I know, drama with flair. I serve it rare.
What up, Meek? What up, bestie? I love you. You came in late. I'm going off, but I'll be back tomorrow. For sure, for sure.
I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait. So come and escape and sip his tea. Sip with me. Spilling his tea. Spilling and sipping his tea. Spilling and sipping his tea.